Hello, hello, welcome to New Gameplay Today. I am your host, Wesley, and I am joined by Marcus in his very first 2023 appearance on New Gameplay Today. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. New year, new me. Excited to get going.
Do you have any big resolutions this year? Any gaming ones?
Well, right now, I'm resolving that I want to play more of this game that we're looking at, Gravity Circuit.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty rad so far. So one of the best things about our job, Wes, is that every now and then you kind of, just by virtue of what we do, you get sent along something that you've never heard of, and you're like, oh, I'll check this out. And then you're kind of pleasantly surprised, like, oh, there's something here. I want to see more of this. And that's what this game is. So from what I can tell, this was announced during the holiday break. And when I came back, I watched this trailer for it, and I was like, "Oh, this looks rad." I'm a big Mega Man and like classic side-scroller fan. It's got some Ninja Gaiden in there, and this game definitely blends elements of both. As you can see, you play as this sort of like, I don't know if you're a robot. I believe you're a robot, or at the very least, you're wearing like a robotic suit. And you're going around rescuing your sort of like comrades through these pretty tough challenges. And what you're using to attack is that you can punch things. You've kind of got like different combos that you can use depending on which direction you attack. So if you attack forward, you'll just punch. But if you attack hitting the up button, you'll do like a little uppercut or maybe like a flash kick. You've got a down attack. Yeah. And the big thing, as you can see here, is that you've got a grapple hook of sorts that can be used for traversal, but you can also use it kind of like Scorpion style, where you can attack enemies and pull their bodies toward you, like their dead bodies, and then throw them at other things.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and you can see it can shoot in multiple directions, which as a Contra fan, I've always been a fan of, like, if you can just let me shoot diagonally in anything, I'm on board for that. Just, gives you more options. And it's a cool little twist because, you can use it offensively. You can, there's those shield guys, I've taken their shields and thrown them at him. As you can see, I'm kind of carrying around his carcass, trying to look for a target. Gonna throw it at that thing back there.
That's so awesome.
And when I brought up Ninja Gaiden before, the reason is that the traversal reminds me of it. You got the sort of like, what do you call it? Like the bouncing across the walls mechanic. You're very nimble. You can run if you want. You've got the Mega Man slide as well. And so what we're watching right now is that they released a Steam demo that everyone can check out. There's 2 levels on it, and we'll get to see a bit of both of them here. And I was having a blast playing it. Like when I was recording the footage for this video, I recorded more than I needed to because, I kind of hit a point where I was like, I think I'm going to keep going for a bit.
Yeah. That's always a good sign.
Yeah, like, this is cut down from what I played, but yeah, it plays really good so far. Like it feels nice. It's hitting those nostalgic notes while still feeling a bit modernized. And again, as a sucker for these kind of games, I'm already pretty psyched to see the rest of this. It's made by a small team called Domesticated Ant Games, and yeah, it's pretty rad. I'm impressed with what I've played so far. What about you watching this? Do you like these kind of games?
Yeah, I do. And one thing I wanted to ask, because I think it's a big part of these type of games and my enjoyment of them, is like the difficulty. You're kind of like killing this level, but you're obviously a pro at these games. Everyone knows that. What's the difficulty like in this game?
I'd say from what I play, it's funny you said that I was killing it, because I feel like if we haven't seen it yet, there's going to be points where you see me die, which is fine, because I kind of wanted to illustrate that the game's a little challenging. This was only my second run through this level.
Really? Dang.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. I don't think it was like overly difficult. You see there, I kind of screwed up the timing on what I was trying to do there. I was trying to rescue one of my buddies. But, I died plenty of times. It reminds me of Mega Man difficulty. I don't think it's definitely not to the level of like old school Ninja Gaiden difficulty, at least in these, I presume are the first 2 levels in the game. And I also have one of the other mechanics is that you can equip up to 3 of the sort of enhancement chips to your character. And in the demo, I had access to a lot of them. And I feel like that won't be the case in the real game. It seemed like, they're trying to give you a taste of what you can get, because the chips give you abilities like being able to double jump, or your melee attack can reach farther. I have one right now that lets me absorb more damage. There's one I saw that added like a knockback to your grapple hook. And so they let you from the get-go sort of, go through all of them and equip the combination that you want. And you can equip them anytime. Like, it's just in the pause menu. So if you hit a point in the level, you're like, oh, I think I might need this to deal with this situation. You can do that. So I'm curious to see if that is there by default, but I feel like that probably won't be. So that can help with the difficulty. But yeah, I'd say this game definitely has some bite to it. It's as you see, I'm trying to redeem myself. You need to deal with that thing. I like that you can carry that giant thing.
That is cool. That's a very unique mechanic for these types of games, I feel like.
Yeah, it gives you some range, and then also like, since your melee attack doesn't go very far because you're just kind of punching and kicking, being able to just like, I'm gonna grab this guy and throw him at this enemy that's really far away. It's pretty cool. So we're seeing the second level now. I want to show it off.
So is like the objectives with the missions to like just get to the end, or are you like trying to find things within each level? What's your goal here?
Oh, you're trying to get to the end. I believe there's a boss fight at the end, kind of Mega Man style. As you can see it, you can see the boss in the beginning, like they do the Mega Man style intro of like, hey, this guy is who you're trying to get. Cool. And you saw in the menu there, I was equipping those chips that I.
Yeah, he kind of looked like a Gundam too. I thought he was more of like a Hayabusa look here because it kind of looks like that, but then. Yeah, he's definitely going for that like Gundam style as a suit. That's cool. Yeah,
we're in this cool little fire world, as you can see here. So this is the first time I ran through this stage, so you can maybe tell just kind of how a little bit more gingerly I am of like figuring out the lay of the land and stuff, and what can I get away with and all that good stuff. The other cool thing that I haven't mentioned yet is that you also have a special attack. So underneath your health, you have this meter that fills up, and when you unleash your special attack, much like the melee attack, you basically get 3 variations of it depending on what direction you're hitting. So if you just use it as like a forward attack, you'll do like some big, combo, and it changes depending on like just what you have equipped. There's at one point I hit like a hurricane kick, like Ryu and Ken. If you hit up, you'll do a different version of it. And, it's just a very powerful, just going to wipe out a bunch of enemies all at the same time. So it's, another sort of weapon in your arsenal that you can whip out on folks.
So you mentioned like the different combos and stuff. Is it like just a few combos to kind of spice up gameplay? Or do you get the sense that there's like going to be, as you get farther in the game, you're going to be doing all kinds of different combos?
It seems lighter as far as I can tell. I don't know if you're going to actually unlock like combo strings or anything like that, at least as far as I can tell. It's just kind of, it's like a basic like, hey, I'm going to hit this guy 3 times, boom, 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 mash the button 3 times, and it'll do like a little sequence, that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Whether or not that evolves at all, it remains to be seen, but it's definitely more than just like, I'm just going to, like Mega Man, just shoot bullets and be done with it. There's a little bit more to it, and I like that depth of like, again, having different attacks depending on what you're trying to hit, from being able to jump and hit like a down kick to bounce off enemies and then chain that into maybe a forward attack on another enemy, and then maybe grab someone's shield with your hook and throw it at somebody.
It seems like a lot more in depth, which I think is what's making me want to try this out today. I might go download that demo. Because I like Mega Man and stuff. Obviously, they're classics, but I do, as gaming's moved on, like it's cool to see games add more to that play set. Yeah,
and I'd say it probably more the Mega Man X end, just because of how much more traversal options you have. Like, you got the Mega Man X style, like jumping on walls, sliding, all that good stuff. So that's probably the more apt comparison if you're more of an X fan. But yeah, I'm impressed. Again, this is a game that kind of came out of nowhere. It's been getting a little bit of buzz, which is why I went to check it out. But yeah, this has already skyrocketed towards like one of my favorite indies of the year.
I love that. I'm listening now and I'm already like really loving the music. You get the sense that this is going to have some banger tracks on it?
Yeah, I like the music too. It's that, retro style music, I guess. Which it to some degree will always sound good, even if it's just like okay. And yeah, so far it's, but not that there are like exceptional like retro style tracks, of course. This definitely sounds like it could be on the better rings. I did like the 2 tracks that I heard. But yeah, it's just whew.
I like
it just
the
felt
visual
refreshing.
style too.
Yeah, like nice 16-bit graphics.
Is this like a, yeah, I mean, it's like a fire level. It's almost like these are like boilers, kind of like the heat wave look, it seems, in the background. That's really cool.
Kind of like in a weird sort of like a forge or like something like that. Is in here trying to dodge this like sort of laser puzzle thing. Except this game is tricky.
Any word on when we can play the full release?
So no release date yet, but it is supposed to release this year at some point.
Okay, cool.
And for now, it's slated for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, as well as Switch and PC. So
Ooh, Switch was what I was hoping to hear. I love that.
yeah, so unfortunately, Xbox conspicuously as absent from that list. We'll see if that changes, but for now, it looks like it's coming everywhere but Xbox, I'm afraid.
Awesome. Well, this game has definitely shot up to the top of my indie games to check out soon. Marcus, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Bye, everyone.